Do you know I got held back in first grade, but not because of me. My brother was gonna borderline get held back in third grade, and then my
They didn't
dad.
want you catching him.
And no, my dad just had this one for all for one kind of thing. So he held everybody back, and then just felt like boys aren't as mature as girls. They should be held back. So he held all of us back.
Yeah, that's part of why I was like the maturity level of just being I was the youngest and stuff.
And you know what's funny is I still completely fucking screwed up in high school. Dude, I actually went back to my parents' house a few years ago, and, I was getting the last remaining shit out of there. And my mother doesn't throw anything out. And she had some of my report cards. Dude, I made it was fucking ridiculous. It was C's, D's, and we didn't have F's. They were called E's. I don't know why.
Yeah, I had C. That was like
C's, D, like the high water mark maybe was a solid C. And it was just D plus, D minus, D, E.
And you're a smart guy.
Huh?
You're a smart guy. I mean, that's like interesting. Like, no, you're a smart guy. I mean, you're not a genius, but you're a smart guy.
Yeah, no.
From what I know, I was held back. I do a joke
in
because
that I know what I'm good at, and what I'm good at is being a loudmouth fucking idiot. And somehow, thanks to this business, I'm able to turn that into a living. But if I was in anything else, I was always I got a good work ethic for my parents, but I trust me, dude, I failed at a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I just wanted to have fun, dude. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to work. I didn't mind working, but it had to be fun. That's why I liked working in warehouses. I liked blue-collar jobs because there was this thing where you were working, but you weren't in like this office or this cubicle. You weren't in this designated area. It switched. You had different job sites, and everybody was fucking funny. Like, I had a buddy of mine. He did construction, and I went over to his job site one time, and, dude, they were the funniest motherfuckers, and they had, like, catchphrases. They had this thing where they would do if anybody bitched, they would just, like, someone would be like, where the fuck is my nail gun? Blah, blah, and you hear somebody all on the other side of the house just go, wah! And do, like, this baby thing, this wah thing, and that's what they would, because what they were doing was this unbelievable, it was a fucking bitch of a job. So what it is, you just saw how humor worked, because if he starts bitching, everybody bitches, then you're just doing this job and you got this negative thing.
Down, yeah.
So it was this way to, because anybody would do it, they would start fucking laugh. Everybody else would start fucking laughing. You'd be 90-degree heat, putting a fucking roof on a house, just hating your life. Dude, I remember one time I lasted 10 days doing this shit before I went back to the warehouses. I was fucking working with these guys, and we were putting a roof on something, and I had to put like the scaffolding, like the supports up, drilling holes in and hanging on the side of the house so they could put the board across it so they could do the roof. And I remember next door was this house with a backyard with an in-ground pool, and these two fucking hot chicks are bringing out shit, and there's these two guys, fucking Jersey Shore-looking guys, laying out, right, and enjoying their fucking summer. And I was just sitting there going like, what the fuck is wrong with this picture? And I remember one of them at one point was looking up, watching us work, and like he was just one of those good-looking, shredded guys, so he didn't have a fucking ounce of guilt.
Nah.
Not an ounce, where I would actually, in shame, gone back into the house like, I don't want to be enjoying the pool with those guys working like that. This guy was just fucking, like, you would have
turning
felt...
the radio louder.
Dude, you would have felt like we were making the roof for him. He just fucking owned it. And I'll tell you, that guy, he has no regrets from his childhood. He crushed... You just see it. This guy's crushing everything. He was this fucking beautiful guy. That's funny, I still remember that. And there was this Irish guy, Billy, you must work quicker. You must work quicker. And at one point I got mad. It's like, dude, this is the first time I fucking ever put these up. If you want me to go faster and you land on your fucking back, I'll do it. Wah! That type of shit.
I've never had a real job. That's one thing I've loved about my life so far is I've never had one of those jobs where you just hate every day, like, going into. I've always either worked in the restaurants or, hard labor, worked out on the highway crew, worked out a little construction, more of a laborer. I didn't know how to build any,
right,
carrying the shit. But those kind of guys, you're right. Those kind of jobs are where you meet really funny people that, appreciate the things that they get when they get them because they're working their ass off.
Dude,
man.
do you know one time, like, we had a guy who worked, and the guy was a total fucking alcoholic, like cokehead, maniac. And one time he showed up, like, I swear to God, like, he was supposed to be there 8:30. Showed up like 10:30, 10:45. And he comes in all bleary-eyed. And his fucking hair was soaking wet from a shower. And he just comes walking in and he goes, oh, the traffic was brutal. his fucking hair was soaking wet, dude. His eyes looked like road maps, right? He's big. Like, it was funny. He had like this, he was a big guy, but he never worked out. It was just all calories from his awful life. And he had this limp fish handshake. He had skinny arms and skinny legs and just this keg of a chest. You know, and one of those guys just keeps pushing the pants down and tightening the belt. So he fucking, so we just used to keep giving him shit. This is before, like, being an alcoholic was considered like a sad disease. So I remember we were going to get donuts that day. And fucking hilarious. We go, hey, you know, Paul, you know, I can't say, I just said his name, Paul. Paul, you want anything from Dunkies? We're going to Dunkin' Donuts. You want anything? You want to, you know, and back then they had muffins. They had donuts and that type of shit. And he just goes, nah. And somebody goes, how about a donut? No, I'm good. Muffin? No, I'm good. Coffee? No, I'm good. And then this other guy goes, how about a rum cake? We all fucking laughed our asses off at the guy. Long story short, he finally ends up getting fired. And he left one of his, remember shackets? It was a jacket and a shirt. It was basically like a flannel shirt with like a lining.
Yeah. It had the,
Yeah, shacket. So he left that thing behind. And this one dude, you talk about like a funny bastard and like, but really like artistic. He took all these empty boxes and made like a giant statue of the guy out of the boxes, and he put the jacket on it, and he drew these bleary eyes, and he put like this mop and thing on top. Dude, we fucking came in, even the boss, we were fucking howling at this drunk that we didn't even try to help. We just fired the guy, sent him out on the street, and then we just made that. We laughed our asses off, and we left it up for like fucking like this shrine. It was up for like 2 weeks. And then finally the boss was just like, we're running low on boxes. You gotta fucking take that thing down. Dude, we had this other guy. I feel bad about this one. This guy, we hired this guy, and the boss thought it would be a good idea to hire somebody that was a little bit older to try to get some sort of fucking maturity. Because, dude, we just did all this dumb shit. Like,
you didn't care about your job. You just did dumb shit. He could see that.
We had like these things that we would do to get through the day. I remember there was this guy, hey, what bin is this thing in? And it was 737. And he kept going 737. And the guy, what? And he finally jumped off these boxes and did like this karate thing and went, what? 737? As loud as he could. And then one day we just decided we were all going to scream that at the same time. And the door was open from the warehouse into the suited area where everyone was dressed like Michael J. Fox. And out of nowhere, and if it was just really quiet summer day, the entire warehouse screamed at the top of their lungs, just went, what? 737? Right? And I remember our boss fucking picked it. So stupid. I don't know why we did it. Picked his fucking head up. And his boss immediately came running in. And he's going, they're yelling? They're yelling out here? What? Like we were animals. Like, what are they doing? And then he got fucking, I almost said balled out. This is how old this story is. Remember that expression?
Balled out,
He got yelled at, and then he came out. And he had this high-pitched voice, and he'd be like, you know, come on, you guys, you know, you're out here, blah, blah, blah. And then whenever he would talk, we would just do this impression of him back. We wouldn't even listen. We would just be going, come on, you guys, I love the trucks. And then he would just be frustrated and would walk away shaking his head and would just be like, bunch of babies, just a bunch of babies. And we wouldn't listen to anybody, like the level of mad that he had to get, because that's right, because he used
to substitute teacher.
No, he used to be us, and then he got promoted.
Ah, there you go.
And then that's what it was. Like, I've often wondered how Bill Russell was able to coach his players, even though they all won together, and he was the legend. He had 9 rings at that point, 10 rings before he got his 11th. Like, there's just something about like, dude, you're telling me to run the stairs now? Give me a fucking break.
Exactly. That's where. Yeah, come on.